So, so if we look at the diagram, so wherever you consider the new keyword, you draw the memory representation, that is new memory representation indicating object is created. That means you have to draw the memory representation with respect to instance variables A and B and object to B. And wherever there is no new keyword, you should not draw new memory representation. For existing one only, you have to point. See, here, in case of ob.math of ob, you can see two times I've written ob, right? Left hand side, that means before dot operator ob. In the parenthesis ob, two times I've written, right? How we have to understand is already object ob is created. See, one more time, you take the same object name, not a problem, but you make it as reference. Don't draw as a new object. If you draw as a new object, then we cannot consider that values are changed. If you draw the object reference only, we can say values are changed because in that memory only you have to change it. Wherever first time you have created object to be, in that memory only you have to change. So here, even though there are two times object to be, for first time what you have written memory representation, for that only you make it as pointer. Okay, don't draw two memory representations here. So only if you consider first OB with arrow mark, that is pointer, that is the new memory what we have got from the test OB is equals new test of 15,20. Next time when you write OB, for the same memory only you are pointing. When you point to the same memory, if you change the value, you have to change there only. So you will not draw any new memory and you will change the value. So only what we can say, when you change the values in the method, it will affect the actual memory. So the statement is, say, look here. So in the above program, the actions inside math method have affected the object used as an argument. So object used as an argument means ob.math of ob. Within parenthesis, we have used object ob, right? That is used as an object, used as an argument. Okay. So if you change that value, it will affect the original object also. So after changing the value, we get the values 30 and 10. Okay. If you compare with the previous program, if you change the values in the method, it will not affect the actual arguments. Okay. You just look at this diagram and the program also. If you come across any doubts, you can ask. Okay. So a method can return any type of data, including class types that you create. See, whenever you consider the class types, returning class types are nothing but returning objects. See, till now what we saw is like creation of an object, creation of object references, method overloading, constructor overloading, passing object as a parameter. Okay, but we didn't say returning object. Okay, we have passed object as a parameter, but in return, we have received the values, not the object. Here we will see how it will return the object from calling method to, from called method to calling method. Okay. This program INCR by 10. See, I think in one of the class I said about how to use method names. See, in this method name, I used three words. For example, INCR, by, and 10. See, whenever you come across the method names like this, generally what we do, first word, write all in lowercase, or first letter in lowercase, all in uppercase. From the second word, what we have to do, from the second word, every first letter you have to write in capital letter. See, by is the second word, first letter is capital. TN, third word, first letter is capital. That is the convention. It is not a rule, it is a convention, just to identify, just to differentiate between class names, object names, method names. Okay. So increment by 10 method returns an object in which value of variable A is 10 greater than it is in the invoking object. So we will see what exactly it is. Okay. So in class test, I have taken one constructor. In constructor, I have taken one parameter, that is I. So A is equals to I. Then, so I have taken one more method here. That method name is nothing but INCR by 10. INCR means increment by 10. Okay. So in the method, I have written the statement test TMP. Temp indicates temporary object. Okay. Temporary object is equals to new test of A plus 10. Okay. Return temp. See, when you look at the return statement, after the word return, after the keyword return, whatever you write, that is nothing but like giving that value to the calling method. So here calling method is which one? Calling method is nothing but main method here, because in the main method we are calling increment by 10 method. Okay. For that method we are passing this value. We are sending back the result to that method. Okay. Now we will see how exactly this works. Okay. In case of return statement, even we can write, if suppose if I'm returning integer values, say RETU, RN, return of 10, direct value, or I can say return of a variable A, where it contains integer value, floating point value, like that. So you can return any basic type values, or you can return object like this. So how we can say temp is an object means before that line only it is present. Test temp equal to new test. We have used a new keyword, so temp is an object. Okay. In the main function, test ob1 is equals to new test of 2. So when this line is executed, what happens? ob1 object is created and test constructor is called. Value 2 is copied to the test constructor. Okay, directly we will see in the diagram so that we will understand better. So just compare with the program statement and we will see in the diagram. Okay. So, okay. So you just look at this statement. When this statement is executed, that is test ob1 is equals to new test of 2, memory and a value as shown below. That is ob1 is an object, test is a class name. So variable A. So variable A is an instance variable which I have used in the class test. Okay. For object ob1, for variable A, value is 2, because you see test ob1 is equals to new test of 2. This 2 value is copied to the constructor, that is for I. So I can say this I will get the value 2. So I is equals to 2. That is nothing but the value of A. Value from the constructor. Okay. And in turn, this I will be copied to A. So I can say here finally A get the value 2. A is equals to 2. So we have to draw the memory representation in this way. ob1 is an object, variable is A, value is 2. Okay. Next, test ob2. See, here I have not used a new keyword. What you can say is object reference ob2. Object reference is created, but not the actual object. Okay, so how you have to draw object reference means like this. When this statement is executed, test ob2, object reference ob2. Null. Null means no memory, only reference it is. So it has got no memory. Okay, you cannot store values directly. So further it is there. How we will see. Whenever you say object reference, you draw memory representation like this. You should not say variable A with empty value, nothing like it. Null it is. Okay, but it is an object reference. Okay. Next, ob2 is equals to ob1 dot incr by 10, increment by 10. So here what happens? In the left hand side, I have used ob2, right? On the right hand side, I have used ob1. See, I hope you people remember in one of the programs or in the example, we have used it like this. That is box b1 is equals to new box. This is first statement. Okay, then box b2 is equals to b1. I hope you people are remembering. The meaning of this is b1 is the actual object created, b2 is the object reference. For this object reference, from b1 only we are getting the values. That means whatever the memory present for b1, same memory we have to consider for b2. The meaning of object reference. Similarly, here what we are doing, ob2 is equals to ob1. If I remove increment by 10, we can understand like this. ob2 is equals to ob1. In addition to that, what I am doing, ob1 dot incr by 10. That means this method will be called. After execution of this method, whatever the value returned by this method, that value will be copied to ob2. If you just compare with the previous statement box b2 equal to b1, here I have not called any method. Just whatever the value present for b1, it is copied to b2. But in this case, what happens? If I remove this line, if I remove this much, we can say whatever the value present for ob1, it will be copied to ob2. But what I have done, instead of that, increment by 10 method is called. In increment by 10 method, value will be increased. That value will be copied to ob2. So we will see how it happens. Okay. You come to this diagram. Okay. Okay. Test temp is equals to new test of a plus 10 is executed. when the following statement is executed. Which statement? OB2 is equals to OB1 dot increment by 10. When this statement is executed, the above statement, test temp is equals to new test of a plus 10 is executed, because when this method is called, you have to consider this function. Okay, when this method, that is OB1 dot increment by 10 is called, this method you have to consider. When you come to this method, which is the first line executed, test temp is equals to new test of a plus 10. So this statement is executed, right? And this method is called. So here, I think in one of the class I said, like, when you look at this type of statement, okay, object dot method, when you look at this type of statement, before dot what you have used object, that is nothing but invoking object. So this term you have to remember. Here, OB1 is called invoking object. Invoking object in the sense, like, if you say OB1 dot increment by 10, when this method is called, when you come to this method, in this method, wherever you consider the instance variable, which value you have to consider is value of the invoking object. Value of the invoking object means you go to the memory. If you go to the memory representation for OB1 variable A, that value is 2. This value you have to consider. Understood? Wherever you say invoking object's value you have to consider. So invoking object is OB1. That object's value is 2. That is for variable A. So here for variable A, you have to consider value 2. So I can say here A is the variable of object OB1, invoking object. So A is the variable of object OB1. So I can say A is equals to 2. I get A value as 2, right? Now next, so when I say test of A plus 2, what happens? A plus 2 means 2 plus 10. So I can say it is test of 12. Finally, I get the test of 12. I hope you people understood. A plus 10 means A is the variable of object OB1. So that value is 2. 2 plus, A plus 10 right here. So 2 plus 10 is 12. So I get the test of 12. Okay, you just remember that point. Now we come here. Test temp is equals to new test of A plus 10 is executed when the following statement is executed. That is OB2 is equals to OB1 dot increment by 10. Okay. Now you see when this particular statement is executed, that is test temp is equals to new test of A plus 10. Here what I am considering, A plus 10 means 2 plus 10. 2 plus 10 is nothing but 12. So I can say like this. Okay. Just for example, later I will change. Okay. So it is 12. So when this particular statement is executed, okay, constructor should be called, right? Constructor should be called. Constructor should be called means you have to go to this constructor. When you go to this constructor, 12 will be copied to variable I, right? When 12 is copied to variable I, that I will be copied to A. That means A contains 12. Now A value is changed to 12. So A value is changed to 12, right? But it will not affect OB1. Just try to understand here. It will not affect OB1 because you see here, I am creating one more object temp here. I am creating one more object temp. For this object, it will affect. That means object temp is created. In object temp for variable A, value is 12. In object temp for variable A, value is 12. You look at the memory representation. See, in this way, for object temp for variable A, value is 12. Okay. So, and after that line is executed, return temp. Return means where it has to return. From which line we have come to that line, it has to return. Always in case of function, functions concept, calling function and called function, where you have stopped, to that line it should return. So in the main method, I have stopped at this line. OB2 is equals to OB1 dot increment by 10. I have stopped at this line, right? So to this line, it will return. When it returns to this line, on the right hand side, what happens? You just try to understand here. On the right hand side, what happens? Wherever you see OB1 dot increment by 10, there you have to consider like OB2 is equals to 10. In this way, you have to consider. I hope you are getting. See, only for this particular program. See, in this class, I will not do any other chapters also. Just we will complete only this much because it's not so easy to understand. So at some instance of time, I will stop and I will ask you whether you have understood or not. Okay. At this line, where OB2 is equals to OB1 dot increment by 10, you have to consider like OB2 is equals to temp. I hope you people have understood, because return temp, return statement will return to the line where we have stopped. So where we have stopped in the main method, at this line we have stopped. So it will return that. And when it returns, on which side you have to consider? On the right hand side you have to consider. I said always when we use equals to assignment operator, left hand side you should not substitute. Only on the right hand side you have to substitute. On the right hand side, what I have to substitute? Wherever you see OB1 dot increment by 10, you have to substitute temp, because return temp is there. So when you substitute return temp, so temp is the new object, OB2 is the object reference. Okay, temp is the new object, OB2 is the object reference. Then these two things should be point to the same memory. I hope people are getting. Wherever you see left hand side object reference, right hand side new object, both should point to the same memory. So you look at the diagram. So I have made it as temp pointing to memory test, OB2 pointing to memory test, where variable is a value is 12. I hope people have understood how this value is also incremented. It is incremented by 10. So the function name is increment by 10. A plus 10. A value is 2, which we have got from OB1, plus 10, that is 12. That value you have to consider for temp. And temp will be referred to OB2. So for temp and OB2, same memory. So that is value of A is 12. Okay, so before I go to the next statements, we'll just wait for some seconds. People just try to understand. So if I come across any doubts, you ask. Okay. Okay.
ಹಲೋ ಅಣ್ಣ ಒಂದ್ಸತಿ ಹೇಳ್ತೀನಿ ಅಣ್ಣ ಎಲ್ಲ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ನನಗೆ ಇದು ಒಂದ್ಸತಿ.
Okay. So till here we have come, fine. So from the diagram, what I can explain for you is like OB1 object, variable is A, value is 2. OB2 object reference, initially it is null, no memory. Temp is an object, new object created, which we get the value, for which we get the value A plus 10, that is 2 plus 10, that is 12. From OB1 we are getting the value and it is incremented by 10, that is plus 10. So we are getting the value 12. That value you have to consider for object temp. So you draw the memory representation of temp object with value 12. Okay. Then when you say OB2 is equals to OB1 dot increment by 10, on the right hand side you consider it as temp object. Okay, because it is returned, object is returned from that method. So you can consider, see, object reference OB2, initially it was null. Now after execution of OB2 is equals to OB1 dot increment by 10, you should not say that it is null, because we got the value. We got the value from temp. So you can consider that value only, 12. So temp, object temp and object OB, both are referring to the same memory. That is A value is 12. Okay. And next, there are two system println statements. See, when you come across println statement, easy, that is very much easy, just to display the values. So what it will display? OB1 dot A value, OB1 dot A value is 12, OB2 dot A value, it is 12. Sorry, OB1 dot A value is 2, OB2 dot A value is 12. By looking at the memory only, we can say for OB1, for variable A, value is 2, that is displayed. For OB2, for variable A, value is 12, so that is displayed. Next, so next we have the statement OB2 is equals to OB2 dot increment by 10. So this statement we have to understand how it works. Okay. Now step by step we will go. See, before dot operator, whatever we are using the object, that is invoking object. So once again, I will tell about that, because we should not get confused at any point of time. Invoking object and object reference and object passed as parameters. So three things should be very much clear. Okay. So OB2 is called as an invoking object. Fine. When the method is called increment by 10, whatever the value present for OB2, that is invoking object, that value you have to consider in the function increment by 10. Again, I'm telling, whatever the value present for OB2, that is invoking object, that value you have to consider in the method increment by 10. For OB2, what is the value? 12. That value you consider. Now come to the function. When you come to the function, you consider the value 12. That is wherever we have A plus 10. A is the variable of object OB2 now. It is not the object of OB1, it is OB2 because we have said OB2 is equals to OB2 dot increment by 10. Invoking object is OB2. So you have to consider that value. So A is equals to, now it is 12. According to the memory representation, it is 12. Test of A plus 10 is nothing but 12 plus 10. So 12 plus 10 is nothing but 22. So 12 plus 10 is nothing but 22. I hope people are getting. Once again, I will tell you, OB2 is equals to OB2 dot increment by 10 is nothing but OB2 is an invoking object. Whenever you consider invoking object, that is before dot operator, whatever the object you use, that is invoking object. That invoking object's value you have to use in method. In the method, increment by 10. So when you're using that object's value is 12. That is A value is 12. So from the memory representation, we have understood it is 12. 12 plus 10 is 22. So this 22, test of 22, you can consider like this, 22. So this 22 will be copied to I. Okay, now I value becomes 22. And A is equals to I means A value becomes 22. So A value becomes 22 means that A value will not affect OB1 and OB2. It will affect a temp because again one more time variable temp is created. Whenever increment by 10 is executed, temp object will be keep on creating. So it's not a problem because if many objects are created with the same name, it is not a problem because each time when it comes to this method, it will be created. Okay. Now temp object is created, value is 22. So you will look at the memory representation. See, when the statement OB2 is equals to OB2 dot increment by 10 is executed, then test temp is equals to new test of A plus 10 will be executed. A temp object is created, value will be 22. So when temp contains 22, that again it is sent back to the main method. When it is sent back to the main method, we can say OB2 is equals to temp. So in the second time, when temp object is created, here what you have to consider temp value? It is 22. It is not 2 or 12. It is 22. See, in the first time, OB2 is equals to OB1 dot increment by 10. Here we have considered 12. Right? I hope people are getting. Here main thing is what you have to understand is invoking object passed as a parameter, object reference. These three things you have to remember. So let me explain once again. OB2 is equals to OB2 dot increment by 10 is nothing but OB2 is an invoking object. When the method is called on invoking object, in the method, invoking object's value you have to consider. Invoking object is OB2. That value is 12. A is equals to 12. 12 plus 10 is 22. That 22 is passed to constructor. In constructor, I value will be 22. That I value will be copied to A. So A value you have to consider 22. This value you have to consider with respect to temp object. So temp object value is changed to 22. Okay. So that means new object is created. Its value is 22. And that value is returned back to the main function. In the main function, if you consider OB2 is equals to OB2 dot increment by 10, right hand side you substitute. OB2 is equals to temp, right hand side we have substituted, value is 22. Now OB2 value is 22, not 12. So new object temp is created, right, with value 22. For that, the new object to point this, not for the old temp object. For the new temp object to point OB2. So new value of OB2 is 22. So OB2 after second increase will be 22. So you look at the output here. After second increase is 22. See, this program, lot of things are there. In this program, we can understand many things. Okay, so only I have given this program. Okay, you can look at the diagram. So if you have come across any doubts, you can ask. So last topic in this chapter is the final keyword. Okay. Okay. So a variable can be declared as final. When you declare variable as final, the contents of that variable cannot be changed. You must initialize the final variable when it is declared. See, final variable is nothing but final keyword is nothing but when we use CONST in case of C and C++. So in C and C++, we make use of the keyword CONST, meaning constant. Okay. Same thing in Java, we make use of final. Final means this value, whatever the value you assign to the variable, that value will remain same throughout the program. Okay. So in case of C and C++, see, same statement if I want to write in C and C++. So how I will write is, instead of final keyword, I will make use of like const const file name is equals to 1. Same type execution. So in case of Java, it is final. In case of C and C++, const keyword constant. So this value 1 cannot be changed throughout the program. So here I use some variables, file new, file open, save as quit, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, some values I used. Throughout the program, this value cannot be changed. So that is the meaning of final keyword. Final is nothing but constant. Okay. And in inheritance chapter, once again, we come across the final keyword. There we will discuss some more things about the final keyword. Okay. And when you are using constant values, that means these are also called as identifiers. File new, file open, file save as file. These are also called as identifiers. Wherever we use values which we don't want to change throughout the execution of program, generally common coding conventions to choose all uppercase identifiers for final variables. Like for methods, we use lowercase letters. For classes, we use first letter capital. And for methods, if you are 2 or more words, for every first letter, we use capital letter. In case of final, that is constant values, all the letters we use in capital letters. Again, I'm telling it is not a rule, it is a convention. Rule is different, convention is different. If I say rule, you have to follow that only, you should not change at all. If I say convention, convention is like habit, just you should not get confusion. So in that way, they have followed, programmers have followed that convention, okay. Fine, so this is about final keyword. So remaining things, that is the new chapter, we will start tomorrow. So